I've got a kind of similar answer in a way. I've got some stuff coming in a similar vein. But if I was to pick, I've had so many kind of deep emotional routes that he's gone through. But I do remember when Bill returns as a vampire to his human house and finds his son has died of smallpox, and his wife is there, and my son was probably 10 at the time, which was kind of the same age as the kid, and he was in London, and I was doing that scene, and Bridget, our makeup artist, who's been with us since the beginning, her son Strider was in the box, and I'm pretty close to Strider, and so that was really intense. And then Lorena makes Bill tell his wife that to forget him, and so he glamours her into forgetting him and what existed between them. And Bill's had to do that a couple of times, and those glamoring sequences with Adam, well, they're really intense, because you're basically forgiving somebody, you're letting them go, but you're also letting go of part of yourself. You're telling that person that you didn't exist in a way, and they're really emotional to play.
Rutina having her head blown off was, definitely pretty high on my list too. I think one of the kind of, convenient things about really loving your co-workers on a show where people die a lot is that when they kill off people you love, it's not very hard to, feel actual sort of grief and pain, and, having someone who I love as dearly as I love Rutina bleeding out in my lap was pretty damn emotional. And, obviously, because that's where the season ends, and we don't know at that point exactly how it's going to turn out. And that was a pretty good one.
Yeah. Next question.
My question is for the entire cast. First of all, I want to say you guys have been my summer family, and you guys, thank you for all the amazing acting for all these seasons. You guys are all just so great. But my question is, what all was your favorite season?
Favorite season for me is this one.
That's really hard to answer. I've loved so much of what Jessica's done. Maybe 4 or 6. I think those were the hardest seasons for Jessica. She went through so much, so that's the most fun for me. So yeah, 4 or 6.
This is my favorite season.
That's so hard. I guess I have a real fondness for season 1, just because, we were all so new, the world was new, we were trying to, we were all exploring it and finding it and discovering it. So I'm fond of that one, but I guess 6 probably was my favorite as an actor, I think.
This season for me, for sure.
There's a close tie between this season and last season, because I got to kill a woman with a high heel last season, and that was so much fun to do.
This was for the actors. I'm not doing this.
Cameron nervously rebelled. This season has been really amazing, and just as a side note, or close second, the rotting face was really fun, and it was really amazing to meet it. It's the first time I got my own storyline, but this season is right here still.
For me, that would be season 5 when I was turned into a vampire. I got to work with Kristin.
That was amazing.
Had a lot of it. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think I have a fondness too for season 1, just because it was the first one right now, and I got to do so much great stuff with Rutina. But I think I can't even remember what happened in each season. I'm trying to remember. There were a couple with my brother. And there was some good acting stuff that I got to do. I think in 4, some really particularly good stuff.
I think season 1 just holds so many memories for us, and me getting to meet this one, obviously, and but also this season with Dennis O'Hare, who played Russell Edgington, because he made me remember what it was that made me love acting in the first place.
I don't quite know how to follow that. I think there's something about the first season, even though there's been so many amazing moments along the way, that it's actually kind of impossible to pick just one season. There was something about the uncertainty of what was the outcome of the show, and were we actually going to be a show, and were people going to just think we'd lost our minds, and were people going to get, fired from HBO, and but that we had no idea, because we're creating this whole kind of fantasy, obviously based on Charlene's novels, but this bringing it to life, and it's not exactly an easy pitch if you were to try to describe it, as far as, this is going to be a totally successful TV show. So there's something kind of exciting about that uncertainty, and also it was firsts, and sort of us all falling in love with each other as a family.
That was a good question. Our next question.
My question is for Anna Paquin. The writers have had Sookie with a number of different people down through the years, but if you got to pick from any character that had ever been on the series, who would you pick and why for Sookie to end up with?
Arlene.
Pam has the best clothes. And maybe we could share.
Yeah, we could share clothes.
Honestly, I get asked that so much, and I know that every time anyone gets near answering that question, they get in trouble with some faction of people who love somebody. That I've just kind of almost prevented myself from actually forming a real, actual authentic opinion. But I gotta say, Charlene ending it with Sam, that to me made a lot of sense, because they're just weird enough.
Yeah.
But just normal enough, and they can both exist during daytime, so that's a plus, and they can have children, But I understand why she made that decision.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. See, and that's exactly right. Keep my damn mouth shut.
I better go do a rewrite. Kidding.
We've all changed our hair.
Kidding.
I was gonna say, I thought we were doing no more pictures.
Yeah, we can do an 8th season, but everybody changed their hair, so we're fucked.
I waited. And then I died.
We have time for one more question. Hello, I just want to tell you guys I love you guys very much, and I'm very sad to see you go. And by the way, happy belated birthday, Anna. I just had a question for the writing. It seems as though the death of Tara and Elsie this season was super short and didn't really give us a lot of time to mourn, compared to when Tara got shot in the head. It was really emotional. Is there a reason behind that, especially the fact that her mother keeps seeing her, and having these visions and stuff?
Well, I think that is mourning, right? Truthfully, when people die in your life, you don't always see it coming. It doesn't always happen after you've just taken out, 40 bad guys. And so, I don't mean to be defensive, especially on the last question, but I kind of feel like we are honoring those characters. I think that's what the episode that was on this past weekend was about, and you don't get to mourn before you know what's going to happen. So, that would be my answer for why we chose to deal with it the way we dealt with it. This season is about the love that all these people share with each other. I think it's really touching, and just because we're not going in the order that you would imagine we would have gone in, I think we've really sort of given these people their due. That being said, you know, it's our last season. We didn't know last season that it was going to be our last season. So, you know, as I've already answered, I think that this season had to be about Bill and Sookie. It's not going to be exactly what you think it is, but you know, Alcide, you know, sadly had to go. I know there's a ton of love there, but you know, we've got 10 episodes to do what we've got to do, and I don't think Sookie's done being sad about what happened to Alcide.
If I can just chip in for a second, also, I think that people mourn in different ways and different circumstances, and it's not like it's a really easygoing melody and on song, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and sometimes it's actually not possible to be able to break down and completely fall apart. And that's not a luxury that Sookie or any of these people have at the moment. And I get that some people think that looks like we're not mourning them, but it's, I think having to put on the brave face while you're dealing with that is a very different kind of mourning, but, you know, just as respectful.
Yeah. And truthfully, I think that episode 4, when Sookie, Anna, had to put on that brave face and power through, despite the fact that she was feeling sad, I think it's all there. I don't, you know, I've come to trust the actors on this show implicitly, and if they have to play multiple things at the same time because life is complicated, then I know they can do it. So, you know, I thought it was all there.
If not, I'm really sorry. I really am.
No, it was great, it was great. And so before we go though, we have a special sneak preview of the final episodes of True Blood. So you guys, thank you all for doing the Q&A though, and thank you all for